Hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is your host, G.I. Wingnut, sitting here with having dinner with my girlfriend Amy. We're out on vacation. We're just gonna have a little Jesus talk. You're not gonna see us. You're just gonna get to hear us. But we're out here in the Ozark Mountains. We went on a little float trip this afternoon. That was a lot of fun. Got rained on. There was a little bit of thunder and lightning. It was a little sketchy for a moment, but it was a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But last night we were rolling around and we noticed a little something that was happening in the neighborhood. And we decided we needed to check it out. It was that tent revival, right, baby doll?
That's right.
What did you think about it?
I loved it. I saw a lot of good people, sincere people that just want to help each other and want to live good lives.
I agree. Yeah, we were only there for an hour because and we got there a few minutes late, but it was all music. But it was all country folk music, so to speak, country gospel, older gospels.
So that was really interesting for the musician in me.
Right. Meanwhile, you're listening to the music and trying to figure out the chords, and I'm going, I've never heard this song before. What are these folks about? And at one point, there was a gentleman that stepped up and spoke about putting faith in God to raise the money for the down payment to start their house of prayer. And I kind of thought, well, this is kind of what I expected. We're down in the Ozark Mountains. There's this little tent revival on the side of the highway, between the highway and the field. Pardon me. But, pardon me. But the young man went on to go sing a song. And it was very impassioned, he was really feeling it. And he was talking about being in the battlefield of life, losing his flag, but he held on to his pole. And he turned it over to Jesus, and now he's back in the battle for the Lord. I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see signs and noticing things here. This is some derivative of a militant form of Christianity. It didn't seem like a harmful thing because unlike tent revivals and revival environments that I'm used to, they did the healing service at the beginning of the revival, even before the music started. And so that was a little bit different. I was not surprised to hear people speaking in tongues. I rather expected that beforehand, just given the area. And then later there was another lady came up. Boy, she was a character. Mm-hmm. Wasn't she the one that... Yeah, she was the one that was singing that song talking about the power of the latter rain. We need the power of the latter rain. There's power in the rain. And that was the clincher moment for me. I was like, okay, they may not realize that they're a Branhamite derivative. But again, they don't seem like, people that are bent out of shape. They've got their little community. They appreciate each other.
I thought the healing portion was very nice.
Yeah.
There were 4 or 5 people that came up with ailments, and a couple people that couldn't, so someone stood in for them, and we put our hands, on people. So I've done that in more mainstream churches.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. Human touch, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, laying on of hands was definitely a thing in the church I grew up in, being Assembly of God, and the speaking in tongues.
But the la 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 la,
yeah,
that I'd heard before. I'd heard the more extreme, like the Holy Rollers.
Yeah.
The Holy Foursquare Gospel. I've been to their church, and they speak like they're speaking a language.
Yes.
Yeah, like in sentences and stuff.
Well,
She was doing something similar to the women that in the Middle East that are the professional mourners that follow their grave and go la 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 la.
Right. I was trying to remember I was trying to remember which minister it is over in the New Apostolic Reformation that. Oh, wait a minute. No, it wasn't. It's not just any one of the preachers. Sid Roth has this show called It's Supernatural, where he brings on these Christian missionaries and ministers and miracle workers and stuff. And like one of the stories, he's talking to this guy, and God told this guy he was to go to Paris. And the guy's like, but I'm in Africa and I have no money. And God tells him to pack a suitcase and go to the airport. And so he packs a suitcase and he goes to the airport. He's like, okay, God, I've packed my suitcase and I've showed up at the airport. What do I do now? And God says, go into the bathroom. And so the guy goes into the bathroom and God tells him, go into I think it was the third stall. And he goes in and he sits down and he starts praying. Now what, God? I don't have any money. I don't have a passport. There's no way I can get on the airplane. And God tells him to leave the bathroom stall, leave the bathroom, and magically he's in Paris International Airport.
Oh, wow.
And so these are the kinds of shows, kinds of guests that Sid Roth has.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some other preachers out there that are like, oh, just open your mouth and whatever falls out, is the Spirit moving through you. So I wasn't at all surprised. I mean, it's the Ozarks. There's a lot of there was that one family that stood up and sang songs. They were singing about the little church on the mountain where they heard the words to base their life upon. But back to the gal that was singing that Latter Rain song. She was talking about apparently the leader of the little tent revival, Sister Sue. Oh boy. And I'm always going to Sister Sue looking for help. And she says, if you don't understand the scriptures, just keep reading. Jesus will let you know what's being said. She goes, now I think sometimes I'm driving Sister Sue crazy. Of course, Sister Sue's in the background shaking her head. Nah, Wiz. Amy and I both grew up in church. We know how to read that body language. Anyway, poor Sister Sue. I may not agree with her, but she seems like she's probably a kind-hearted person. We were only there for that hour. But I had to draw the red line.
Very nice looking woman.
Uh-huh.
Very pretty.
Simply dressed.
Well dressed.
Well dressed, but simple.
But it was really a come as you are. There were people, in cut off shorts and tank tops, and we were wearing our swimsuits, like clothes over top of them. So
yeah,
it was a beautiful evening.
And that family that got up there,
mm-hmm.
the brothers had like those Wyatt Earp mustaches.
Yes.
But you notice his brother was on crutches.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happened there?
No.
He'd been out bull riding.
Oh.
And so when they asked the Taylor family if they wanted to get up and sing, the one on crutches like, man, I'm really not up to it. One of the guys on guitar looks at him and goes, if you're brave enough to get on a bull, you're brave enough to get on a mic. So the young man gets up there and he hobbles up. And they were good. Two brothers and a sister. They were really good. I can imagine. I can just imagine the random evening sing-alongs in their living room.
No, I just love that.
But yeah, and then that last lady that sang before we left.
Mm-hmm. That's the one that got you.
Yeah, I was ready to pull the plug on the stage then. Wonderful woman, traditional Pentecostal in appearance. Got the bun and the black skirt.
85.
84, 85, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She had that white blouse with the collarless collar.
The bow, I think they call them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very modest,
mm-hmm.
very modest, very traditional Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
But when she got up there and she started singing her song, because they asked her to come up and sing, and she was talking about, I forget exactly what the words were, but there was something about, if you care about our country and care about the right, we got to pray for the USA. And I'm like, all right, so I've heard this militant Christian song, and I've heard this obviously Latter Rain song, which is a Branhamite thing, and then I hear that old Pentecostal, like, it's something that would have rolled through our church in the 70s when Lowell Mason rolled through, backed by the moral majority.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to the 50s. So it was at that point. It was late. We needed to get home. You know, we needed to wind up the day. But yeah, it didn't surprise me that there was a tent revival in the Ozark Mountains.
I'm glad we got to go.
I'm glad we got to go. It wasn't nearly as charismatic as I expected it to be. It was really low key by comparison to some other revivals I've been to. But yeah, and it was the little community that the revival is in is really a really polite community. I mean, as we were leaving that one little store, that young man's like, "God bless," you know. And it's a really down to earth community area, and they do get a lot of tourist traffic. And one of the locals was like, "Yeah, November, December, that's our time. There's nobody around here." But yeah, that was a great experience. I might have been a little apprehensive, or I probably wouldn't have gone on my own. But then again, you're the one that got me to walk inside of a Scientology building too, so you're that girl for me. And I appreciate that.
What's this? Let's go find out.
Well, do you want to go home right now or on a side adventure? Adventure!
Strap in.
Right? I do really appreciate the people that work here where we're staying. They're doing some really good work with responsible stewardship
of the land, of the people, of
and
the church.
And having crossed up with that young lady with the Missouri Stream Team, and on that stretch of Current River, and she's like, last year we picked up like, what was it, four old tires and 150 pounds of trash, and this year they found nothing. There again, showing the interaction between the various communities in the area, the actual community environment that's down here. I think in a lot of ways that this part of the country could weather a major depression like the Appalachia did back in the 1930s. They didn't even notice it really. I mean, they had their homesteads, they had their own chickens and their own crops. The rest of the world collapsed around them, and they were like, what, y'all's first time being broke? Was there anything in particular that really stood out in your mind last night besides like the music in general? Just like,
I liked the family atmosphere. I liked that there were kids of all ages running around being kids. There were sulky teenagers that were like, I don't really want to be here, you know, and there were little kids and babies and old people, and it was just a beautiful thing.
Bull riders and at least one ex-con. I think there was 2 or 3 there.
Yeah.
And that's not uncommon in that region, in this portion of the country either.
Right.
Yeah, that we could talk about Missouri justice reform another time. I want to talk about Jesus related stuff. No,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Which reminds me, you know, Jesus said, wherever 2 or more of you are gathered in my name, I am there. So He was there last night.
Yes, He was.
There's no doubt of it. And it was different in the way that I worship, but enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I felt the Spirit.
I thought it was kind of funny, though, last night when you asked me, was this normal in your church? I'm like, yeah, on Sunday night.
Yeah, I've had a handful of experiences like that.
That's one of the things about like the Assembly of God Church and some of those on that side of things is they'll have regular Sunday morning service, and that's like open to the general public, and they'll invite you to Wednesday night Bible service or Bible study. If you show up to enough Wednesday nights, you'll get recruited to come to or invited to come to a Sunday night service. It's traditional.
See, in our church, if you show up for 3 or more Sundays and or Wednesdays, you could put on a committee.
But see, you're staff there, so I'm just staff adjacent by default. And yeah, I am on a committee. Dadgummit.
It happens before you know it.
Right? It's like, hey, you want to come sit in on this meeting? Yeah, sure. Next thing I know, I'm sharing ideas and people are loving them and I'm part of it.
Yep.
That's just how it works. Although some of my ideas are a bit over the top for these lovely and generally simple, not in a bad way, I mean not in a negative way. They just enjoy a simple life.
Yes.
They don't overcomplicate their worlds.
Right.
And
Yeah.
my world's been overcomplicated all my life.
Exactly.
But it's helped me to learn to slow my roll. It really is. Some folks over there in MAGA land, the way they hear me talk, you'd think I hated Christianity. No, I just hate authoritarianism. Anyway, I didn't want to talk politics. I've got to say, these are some good brats.
These are some good brats. Thank you, Lindy.
Yes, thank you, Lindy.
What's his? Do you know his shop's name?
Well, he works in Herman, Missouri, and he works over there at the brew house, the main restaurant up there. And he's a world class sausage maker.
Yeah.
Award-winning sausage maker.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful that Tina brought this stuff from Lindsay for us. Tina's an Air Force sister. For those of you who don't know who she is, she's been through some stuff. I haven't talked to her in a minute. I should hit her up. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this dinner, and I've enjoyed this little Jesus talk with you, David, and sharing it with these folks. That revival was an interesting experience last night. I kind of wish we could have stayed, but we needed to get home.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Welcome to this nifty little glimpse into the behind the scenes of my real life. I will be back before long from sabbatical. I've got some stuff I've got lined up. I've got so many connections I've got to put together. I already had 2 timelines tangled together, and I was trying to figure out where this third one works in. And just hang on, folks. I got a beautiful braid I'm going to put together for you. Hope y'all have a great weekend.
And take a little Jesus with you.
Yeah, take a little Jesus with you. And y'all take care of yourselves. If you can't stay cool, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated anyway. Rest well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.